crowd lost their shit as if this was LL Cool J. And they have two just random dudes racing the cow.
It's the world's fastest cow. Come on.
Some dude dressed as a cow who clearly used to be a track and field star at the university and couldn't get a job elsewhere because the job market sucks. So he was like, you know what? Put me in a cow costume. Yeehaw! It's Calgary. This crowd, I swear, I thought the game was like, I thought maybe I missed something, like I zoned out and came back and the score was getting closer. And then on top of that, Jake Mayer and the Stampeders come back and they make a game of it. They're within a touchdown, and there's 8 minutes or so, and all of a sudden there's about 30 people in our section, not just the arena, our section, that get up and leave. And I don't understand this. Gotta beat the traffic. This isn't Calgary. This isn't fucking Vancouver. This isn't Toronto. What traffic do you have to beat? The traffic that you cause is the traffic that you're trying to beat. So when you leave 10 minutes early, you're causing the traffic. It took us what? Getting out of there, it took us what? 15 minutes?
If that.
And we parked right at the stadium.
We actually got a parking pass for the stadium.
So, you're telling me that you have to leave in it might have been a 2-score game at most. It's a season opener to beat traffic on a Thursday night. Oh boy, those Calgary roads are gonna be full of people on a Thursday. It drives me nuts. And it's not just the thing is it's not just McMahon Stadium and it's not just the Calgary fans. It's fans not just Stampeders fans. It's Calgary fans. You go to a Roughnecks game, you go to a Hitman game, you go to the goddamn Flames. People are gotta leave early, it's a tie game, boy, yeah, but still the traffic, I can listen to the game in my radio. On the radio. Why would you do that again?
Do that again.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday, and you know what that means. It is time for the June 19th episode of the Hughes Sports Podcast, and I hope you guys enjoyed that intro because the old man seemed to love it. I loved it. And of course,
I think I'm laughing harder now than I did during the show.
I am, of course, your host, Jake Hughes, and across from me, the old man. Old man, how the hell are you doing today?
I'm doing good. What an intro. What an intro.
You know what? I do my best.
Can we never play that again?
You mean play it every single week? Got it.
No,
yeah.
Never play that again. That was just, I was like, oh my God, stop. You just went on ad nauseum.
Well, it's because it's very annoying to me.
That was funny.
But we're past it. I've gotten feedback. Most people seem to agree. Excluding the old man. So, old man, what do you want to talk about this week?
What you want to talk about?
Well, there's a little bit of news. But first, before we do that, something we're terrible at.
What's that?
Waiting until like the end of the show to tell people, check out the website, hughesports.ca. Has all of our posts. The old man will have an article reviewing week 2 up hopefully tomorrow,
yes,
as well as our week 2 power rankings, which we will reveal here tonight live.
Oh, I can't wait for this, man. Smurf Mafia. If you're listening, Smurf Mafia. Okay, that's all I need to say.
And we'll reveal the power rankings tonight live on the show. Then the article will go up later tomorrow with a little explanation about what's the reasoning why I put each team in specific places. And let me tell you, vastly different from the CFL power rankings and 3 Down Nation power rankings.
Good. You know what? I know you sent them to me, and I just looked at the top 2 because I wasn't sure how you were going to do it.
Well,
and I didn't look at the rest, so this will be good for me.
Fair.
So what do you
Okay.
want to start with? Do you want to start
I
with some
think-
CFL news, or do you want to start with some?
I think we should talk about it right off the bat because it's not really the majority of the show is going to be about the CFL. Let's talk about the CF or the NHL news, Vancouver Canucks news. They finally did it. They bought out Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Thank goodness. You had to try to explain to the old man and what the buyout means. We dropped $2 million. Did you say $2 million off the cap?
No, off this year.
Let's just talk this year.
This year we saved $7.1 million.
$7.1 million, and then it's $2 million, and then it's something else. Blah blah blah.
No, So for the first year, it's $7.1 million in savings. Year 2, it's $4.9 million in savings. Year 3 and 4, it's $2.5 million in savings. Then year 5 through 8, it'll be a 2.13 cap hit.
8 more years.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But we get him off our roster, and in all honesty, in 5 years, 2.1 million is going to be a fourth line player.
Yes.
Shucks,
now the question is, it's great. Now, the first question I thought of this when you sent me that news the other day. When did that happen? Was it the weekend?
Friday.
Yeah. What happens to OEL?
I think he'll sign a cheap contract somewhere because he is a serviceable defenseman.
Yes.
And us in Vancouver, we rag on him and I rag on him. I'm not a fan of OEL, but I'm not a fan of him at his price, at the contract value.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
$8 million. He's not worth $8 million.
Yeah.
Is he worth a $2 million to a Boston, to a Carolina, to a team to a Seattle who's looking to just shore up their defense? 100%.
Okay. So now the next question is, where do we go from here?
Well, I mean, this really just what this move does, and the fact that they did it as early as they did. Patrick Elvine, Jim Rutherford, the front office convinced ownership to do this, which is wild because I didn't think ownership would ever allow a buyout of this magnitude.
Yeah.
But what it also does is it allows the front office to go and look at trades for hockey trades, not standing over a barrel because you need to get rid of cap. Because as we talked about before, we were $600,000 over the cap.
Right.
Now, according to cap,
we were allowed to be because it was off season.
Yeah, it's off season, so you're allowed a certain percentage. I think it's 10% over the cap throughout the off season. But so according to Cap Friendly, right now, if we start the season with Tanner Pearson on injured reserve and Travis Dermott on injured reserve, I believe we'll have $8 million worth of cap space.
Well, and now I guess Bear will be on injured as well because
we don't have him signed to a contract. He's a UFA.
Oh, is he?
He's a restricted free agent, an RFA. Sorry.
Okay.
So,
but you got to sign him.
You don't have to.
Wow. No, I guess you don't have to.
If he got injured during the Canucks practice, during something Canucks related, I 100% would say, as a good faith gesture towards the player and towards the public facing to the rest of the players in the league, you have to sign him.
But if he got injured,
yeah, go ahead.
If you don't sign him, won't somebody else have the ability to pick him up?
So this is a very confusing part of restricted free agency. We would have to offer him a qualifying offer. So if we offer him a qualifying offer and he doesn't accept it, he can go and get a deal from another team. If he wants to sign a deal with another team, the Canucks organization gets compensation in forms of picks depending on how much his salary is worth.
I see. Okay, gotcha.
But the problem is an injured player who might not be back until December at the earliest.
Well, and it's going to be like they said, 8 to 10 months, didn't they?
I think 6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months. Okay.
Yeah. So we're looking like the earliest he could be back, I think, is the beginning of December. And is that time frame including rehab, getting back into the swing of things and missing training camp, or is that he's healthy and can start practicing in 6 to 8 months?
Yeah, that's right? The thing, right?
And it kind of it puts you in a tricky situation because you have to, if you think he's not worth his qualifying offer because of his injury status,
Yeah.
you just let him move on. So his qualifying offer is $2.2 million. If
How
you
do they
don't
work
think
that out? How do they know? Like, how do you know its qualifying offer is 2.2?
the qualifying offer is a one-way,
That's what the Canucks put out there.
so this is from Cap Friendly. The qualifying offer is equal to 100% of the previous contract's final season base salary because the salary was $1 million or greater. So his salary last year was $2.2 million. So his qualifying offer will now be $2.2 million.
I see. Okay, that makes sense.
So the Canucks have to say he's worth $2.2 million.
Minimum.
We can sign him to that minimum. If they say he's not worth that, they can still negotiate back and forth until free agency opens. If they come to it and they say, hey, look, we want to give you a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal, and let's say at 1.8 million because it gives us this flexibility, and Ethan Bear's like, I get it. I'm not worth the 2.2 because I'm not going to be here all season, but I'll prove it to you in the second year. He can sign that deal.
I see. Okay.
So there's a bunch of different ways that they could go about this.
Yeah.
I think you'd be silly not to take on Ethan Bear again. Even for the $2.2 million, I think he's worth it.
Yep.
If you're able to get rid of Tyler Myers and replace Tyler Myers with another top 4 defenseman and sign another you need to sign 2 top 4 defensemen for Ethan Bear to be your third pairing defenseman, in my opinion.
Yes.
And I think he's worth that 2.2 because we know he can play up in that second pair if he needs to.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Lots of different pieces.
And there's going to be lots of more stuff coming from that.
Well, in a week and 2 days, it is round 1 of the draft.
Yes, exactly.
So, this is where Jim Rutherford might be one of the best GMs in the NHL. And I'm hoping he's on the phones with Patrick Allvin to be making some of these deals because we have the advantage and now we have the cap space.
Yes.
Do we take a middling contract for a player who fits on our third line, like a third line center who's got a bit of an overpay, and we get a second round draft pick or a third round draft pick in return as well, right?
Yeah.
So,
okay. Yep.
Right, and it all depends on what they're doing and what's going on. I would be shocked if they don't make another move before the draft.
Okay.
I
can see that happening.
Yeah, I want to talk about it more next week because it'll be 2 days ahead of the draft, and we'll have more of a picture of what's going on.
We'll have more of a concentrated draft show in a week.
Exactly.
This week it's got to be more about where is it? There it is. BC Lions.
Well, let's start it as we do every week. Review the entire week.
Okay.
So let's start on Thursday. Was it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. The Stampeders at Ottawa Redblacks. The Stampeders won by a score of 26-15. You can see here stats say stats because the CFL website is still screwed up. This week, we don't even have 2 sets of data for this. We have no sets of data. It tells me Jake Meyer went 1 for 1 with 1 touchdown and 1 interception.
It's
how hard is it? How hard is it?
It's bizarre to me that I go to download my PDF for week 2 and it has week 1 download PDF, and I look and I'm like, am I in the wrong spot? And I'm like, nope, they just don't have the shit together.
It's like we joke that every now and again the CFL's a joke of a league. This is what makes you look like a joke of a league. If I'm a new fan and I'm trying to figure out, hey, I missed the game. My new favorite team is the Calgary Stampeders. Oh, Jake Meyer went 1 for 1 for 270 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and his longest throw was 14 yards. I mean, they rushed the ball real well. Derek Mills had 19 carries and 99 yards.
So they only threw the ball. They only threw the ball once. Hey, Mr. Rod Peterson is watching. How you doing, Rod?
Hello, RP. Thank you so much for checking out the show today.
So, did you watch this game?
I was with you to watch this game at the Rod Peterson watch party.
Oh, that's right.
At the Shark Club.
It was a fun game to watch. It was a fun game to watch.
Oh, definitely.
I really enjoyed it.
It was really good up until, I would say, partway through the third quarter, when Ottawa just started turning the ball over recklessly.
They definitely have their issues. It's definitely going to be a long season for the Red Blacks.
Yeah.
Having said that, the East is going to be a long season for the East, outside of Toronto and Montreal, maybe. But all in all, I thought it was a entertaining game. I mean, it held our interest.
It was only an 11-point game.
Yeah.
For a team that's Calgary. I mean, and I again, kind of a hint towards the power rankings. Calgary is a team that's still figuring it out. They're not the powerhouse they were a year ago, even.
No.
They're figuring it out. They're back to square one almost.
Yes.
And they've got a lot of great pieces.
I don't think Mayer is their guy. Yeah, they beat the Red Blacks. They're 1-1.
Yep.
I just don't think the Red Blacks are going to be the team that. Sorry, I don't think the Mayer is going to be the quarterback that takes them back to where they were when Bo Levi was burning up the league and was heads and shoulders literally above everybody else.
Yeah. No, I think is it a case of the Red Blacks looking good against the Stampeders, or is it just two teams that are pretty even?
It's two teams that were pretty even. And that's what makes it a fun game to watch. I mean, we can talk about the stats. We can get into how the Red Blacks turned it over. For the pure entertainment of football, it was just damn fun football. Yeah, there was turnovers both ways. How many turnovers did they give those stats?
I'm trying to find it. I'm literally looking it up. Giveaways.
Yeah. It was a lot. Every time I looked, they were giving the ball away.
6, 9, 10, 11. Whoa, what are you doing? 11. 11 in the game.
11 in the game. That's insanity.
And the team that lost the turnover battle won the game.
Which never happens. Usually you lose.
Very, very rare in the CFL. Almost exclusively. If you look at the giveaway stats, you can tell who wins the game, but not on this one.
Not on that one. Not on that one.
The second quarterback for the Red Blacks that came in, Adams.
Yes.
Adam. I don't remember if it was Adams or Adam. I think he looked pretty good.
I think
Arbuckle was not looking good.
Because I remember you saying at some time during the game, you went, "Oh, there's going to be two Adams."
Yeah, because it's Vernon Adams Jr. and Adams.
Yeah.
It is Adams, by the way. I looked it up.
It is Adams, yeah. Tyree Adams.
Yeah. If I'm the Red Blacks, I'm going back to him this week all in practice. He's getting first reps.
Well, yeah,
Arbuckle's not your guy.
That's weird. Nick Arbuckle apparently went 12
completions for 1 attempt.
What are these stats, dude?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
It's embarrassing. It's literally, I'm not even going to try. I was going to try and I give up. I'm not even going to try to talk about stats because if they can't get their freaking shit together at the CFL, carry on.
Now, to be fair to the CFL, that is the only game that has messed up stats. All the other games do have stats at reporting, and I'm using very heavy quotation marks accurately.
How do we know they're accurate after looking at that?
Yeah, exactly. No, I 100% agree. But the next game on the night, which was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, was the Blue Bombers going into Saskatchewan to face the Rough Riders. The score looks lopsided, and let me explain to you, that game was nowhere near the 45-27 that the scoreline shows.
No, I agree.
Trevor Harris and the Rough Riders went for 437 yards and still lost this game.
Yes. And you look at Caleris, they did 389 total yards.
Yeah. To me,
this is where I'm talking about the Smurf Mafia. They're freaking planning the damn parade. They're 2-0 and they're the best. Everybody else is behind them. Dudes, you freaking hung on to beat a team that didn't make the playoffs last year. I think the Rough Riders.
I think the Rough Riders are making the playoffs this year.
Yes, I don't
Based off of the
disagree,
first 2 weeks
but you know
of
what
the
I'm getting at. It
100%.
was the don't
Again,
start planning the parade.
the score, again, it's an 18-point score, so it's a 3-score game. But up until the fourth quarter, middle of
Well,
the
it was
third,
probably
maybe?
partway through the third when didn't they have a big return?
Yeah. I think it was
Yeah,
partway through the third.
it was
And
halfway through the third when they had that punt return or touchdown kickoff return for a touchdown.
and
Did the Rough Riders in?
I can tell you, someone who was working that game said as soon as that happened, it killed the Rough Riders.
Right, because you're
bench-
friends with that. Okay, sorry. I can't. Apparently, I'm not allowed to say that.
Yeah, they were deflated on the bench as soon as that run back happened.
Nice.
So yeah, hearing that, it's not surprising. So it's just
you can feel it.
Yeah, you could see it on TV too. That's how deflating it was for them. And again, I think the Rough Riders have put the best test towards Winnipeg in probably 2 years.
Well, it's probably, I mean, besides BC in the Western Final, who, if you talk to any Bomber fan, BC choked. Shut up. Shut up. You beat a team. You beat a limping team.
To be fair, the Blue Bombers choked you way harder. Oh, you lost to Toronto in the Grey Cup.
Exactly. Give it a rest. Anyway, again, another fun game to watch. We could talk about stats till the freaking cows come home, but I'm refusing to do that until they get their crap together. I want to talk about the entertainment value of these games. It was fun to watch. It was just a fun game. And you're right. I thought this was going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
18 points isn't a blowout just for the Smurf Mafia, if you're watching, and I hope you are.
Well, not just that, but also Americans. When you see a 27-45 score, that is a blowout in the NFL a lot of the times.
Yes.
This isn't. This is a 3-score game.
Look at now we can get into the stats. 29 for 41, 437 yards. You gave up 437 yards. You made a couple big plays, and that's what did it for you.
100%.
Right?
100%. And a lot of it, I was going to say, the big one was on special teams. It wasn't Zach Claras in your offense. It was the special teams. And look,
against a rather weak defense. Let's face it. The Riders don't have the best defense in the league.
I think they're better. I think they're better than a lot of people thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year.
Oh, 100%.
I also think that as the season goes on, their defense is going to start to tighten up and figure it out.
Yes.
So I think, and we talked about it before. I thought Edmonton was going to be a lot better of a team than they are. I had them coming out of the playoffs, but the Rough Riders, to me, after the first 2 weeks, they're better. They've shown better than the Stampeders have.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, they're both 1-1, but if I have to pick who's above, I would definitely say the Rough Riders are above Calgary, 100%.
I completely agree.
But again, the entertainment value in this game was probably better than anything on TV on a Friday night.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
Right?
Yep. Now jumping. So the really cool thing this year, and we talked about it last week, during this game, the Blue Bombers at Rough Riders game, the TSN panel was set up outside of BC Place, which is so cool because they had a party going on, and they actually had a watch party. They had a watch party. They had live music. They had a bunch of things going on the Friday.
Yes.
They turned the home opener, which was the next day on the Saturday.
So they literally had a watch party to watch the Bombers Riders game.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Which is wild.
That's a CFL though. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah. 100%.
Which reminds me, before we go to the next one.
Yep.
Friday night, if you're in the Calgary area, Ace Casino is the place to be if you're a CFL fan. We're having a CFL, we're just going to call it a CFL get-together, a CFL reception. Come on down. Rod Peterson's going to be hosting. Rod Peterson has been involved in the CFL for over 20 years now, close to 25 years that he's been following the game closely.
Almost longer than I've been alive.
Exactly. And we might have a few surprises of people showing up there as well. So Friday night, Ace Casino Airport. Sorry, Jake, go ahead.
No worries. Just so everyone knows, the old man will be there probably all night. I will be making an appearance as well. But
tequila shots.
We jump into Saturday's game. Before, you know what? We're taking off the stats. What did you think? And you probably watched it more live than I did because I actually had an event that I couldn't watch any of the game.
Oh, right. Yeah. I was like, no, you were here. No, you weren't. It was Bev that was here. Sorry. Go ahead. I don't know if it's me or you that it's you. So I'm going to keep talking apparently because the gremlins had got to Jake. So I have a feeling what he was going to say was,
how was the atmosphere? Game, because I know they showed the first little bit of the concert, and it confused everyone because the game on the schedule everywhere said 7:00 start. The kickoff wasn't actually till 7:30 Mountain Time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So down in the States, they didn't air the pregame at all. So everyone down in the States, and I'm in a bunch of groups for people like CFL fans in the States, they're like, "Where's the game? What's going on?" And then other people like, "Just kidding, game's not on for another half hour."
Well, see, I was at an event until 5:00 our time, so that would have been
4:00
BC time.
BC time. Yeah.
What time? What? Hold it. You said what time was kickoff? Not 7:30.
Oh, 6:30. Sorry, 6:30.
5:30.
5:30 Mountain or 5:30 Pacific time.
Yeah, 5:30. Yes, that's better. Yeah. Okay, sorry, you confused me there.
No, I messed up the times. That's my fault.
So I didn't really start watching the game until the second half. I did have it on the radio, but I didn't start watching it until the second half. From what I saw the replays, and from people who were there, including our friend, the show's friend, AB3, Arland Bruce III.
Did you see his Instagram story?
Yes, he was dancing.
He looked like he was having a good old time.
He was having fun, sitting up in the suite, living the high life. I like it. But from everybody, whether it be Arland in the suite to other people in the stands, it was just a damn fun time. And they said it was fun from the time they got off the SkyTrain to the time they entered the stadium, to the time they got back on the SkyTrain, till the time they got off the SkyTrain because people were partying.
Well, and the big thing is they made an event. It wasn't just LL Cool J. No, they had a band pregame, they had a band postgame, they had pregame barbecue and drinks, and the TSN panel was there all day. And people, like I saw on Facebook today and Twitter, I think it was Facebook. People ran into Amar Doman, who was just out there enjoying the place.
It was, all in all, we're biased. Yes, we're homers. No. Yes. It was the best home opener of the CFL.
But so I listened to Sakaris and Price.
Yes.
Every day, almost. They had Amar Doman on today. And they asked them, they're like, how many calls did you get from other franchises? And he kind of laughed it off without saying anything, but he said, it's great because we want to be getting those jealous phone calls. Those phone calls from the other owners saying, how did you do it?
Why are you doing it?
Everyone understands why now. It's now, how do you do it?
Yes. And you know what? Every freaking team should be doing this on their home opener.
Well, and so I don't know if you've heard this story, but do you know how they came up with this idea?
No.
Mar Doman. So they did the pre-concert last year.
Yes.
But it wasn't an event like this year.
Yes.
So this year they had the idea they were going to bring in LL Cool J. That was kind of determined. And they were talking. And Amar Doman was down in the States at one of the arenas during baseball's opening day. And he saw the party and he saw the event. And he went back to, I can't think of the business operations guy, and said, this is what I want to do. I think it's a great idea. And they ran with it and went with it from there.
Nice.
So
And you know what? That's what you need to do.
you again, we talked about it, and I just listened because I was editing the intro literally moments before we went live here. We talked about it last week. You make it an event.
Yes.
32,000+ fans in the arena. No, did a couple thousand maybe leave after the LL Cool J concert? Maybe.
You know what? It looked like it sounded loud.
And you know
For
what? Then
a game that sucked, it wasn't an exciting game. It was 22-0. We scored 1 touchdown. It was a boring ass game, but the excitement in the crowd felt freaking amazing. I actually saw one guy posting saying, I can't believe they were doing the wave while we were on offense. They were doing the wave at BC Place. When's the last time you seen that?
Like, it's, to me, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, how do we do this? Not every game. You're not going to be able to draw the same crowd every game. But
you can't bring in a level of an LL Cool J every game.
No, but can you bring in could you do
You missed it, didn't you?
But could you bring in a bigger named or a C-list band to play your pregame outdoor patio and do that every game? Yeah.
Gosh,
no, I'm sure there's bands like Trooper who are from Vancouver. You've got an array of Prism. You've got an array of 80s, 90s, 2000s. Bring in new wave. Bring in a DJ. Have a rave night.
Yes.
Do these events every single game. And the BC Lions, to their credit, are trying to do that with different things.
They are.
And despite we've talked about this, despite the score being 22-0,
it was the first time in 47 years that the Edmonton Eskimo / Elks, can I still say that, had been shut out. There's some confusion out there because a lot of people were saying it's been 47 years since there's been a shutout in the CFL. And I was like, no, I remember not long ago, the BC Lions got their freaking asses handed by them by the Smurf Mafia. It was like 45-0. And that wasn't that long ago. We won't go there.
But
I mean, it wasn't a great game. 416 total yards. Pretty damn good.
22 points.
Yes.
The greatest. I mean, really, let's be honest. 416 yards. Harris put up 437 and got 27 points in a loss.
Yeah.
I don't know if the BC Lions were, especially because I watched more in depth the first half. I was watching it today at work. Work got busy as the second half went on, and I was just kind of watching in the background. I don't know if it was just the fact that the Lions were like, it's the Elks, I don't need to get up for it. Or did the Elks actually put up a good front? And it's really hard to tell because watching a game back where you already know the final score, it's really hard.
Yeah, exactly. No, I get it. If the Lions want to be number one in the league after Thursday coming up, I think they got to step it up just a little bit.
That is fair.
Yeah.
Now, out of this game, I want to introduce a new segment to the show. Our first ever proper segment.
Do I know about this?
Partially. Oh. So I'm gonna. You didn't see the very beginning of the game, did you?
No.
So this is something I kind of talked about, and I've been tweaking it all day, and I've been bouncing it off of different people. We're doing a segment. Review, penalty or not?
Oh, we did. Okay, I did know about this. He always does this. It's almost as bad as Rod. Rod just kind of throws things out there, and I'm like, you did what?
On the screen here, we'll play a play. I want you to tell me if you think the penalty was justified or not, because on this play, it was the first play of the game. A penalty flag was thrown. And of course, it's not going to play now because it just played 30 seconds ago. Why would it play now? Technical difficulties.
Here we go. Jake, and we have nothing. We have some difficulties.
Give me a second. We're thinking.
The CFL lives here. That's what that sign says.
That is what the sign says. Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And now nothing. I hate this. I absolutely hate this because I had it set up and everything works. And now I go to share and it doesn't.
Well, so that was a great segment, dude.
Wait, let's try this way.
Okay, you only get one more shot.
It's playing on my screen.
It's not playing on ours.
All right. Well, you know what? We tried. We failed. We're moving on.
We
But the play
failed
was
miserably.
the very first part of the game. Literally the first play of the game. The TJ Lee jumps a ball, and there's a penalty flag for it. I'm just gonna do it. It's gonna be a supplemental. I'm gonna put it out on the YouTube channel.
Okay,
Keep your eyes
and
out
they
for
can
it.
vote on it.
Yeah, then everyone can vote on it. Tell me if they think it's a penalty.
And maybe next week you'll have your poop in a group and we can actually
I
do
make
it
no
properly.
guarantees. I think I know what I have to do, but it's gonna be a pain in the butt. But either way, moving on to Sunday. Moving on to Sunday's game, the Hamilton Tiger Cats went into Toronto, and this is the game where me and you we did our picks for the week, and this was the only one we differed on. And boy, do I look like a silly idiot, because I had faith that Bo Levi would be able to turn it around, and that.
And how did you do this week in your pick'em? In the
pick'em, I went 0 for 1 and 3, because I forgot to submit 2 picks, so it's not really my fault.
What did I do? How did I do in my picks?
Did you go 4 for 4?
I went 4 for 4.
Well,
the medium knows. When are you going to know this? When are you going to learn? Trust the medium.
I never trust a medium. Never trust medium.
This game, let's get into this game. The article I'm writing is going to be a lot about this game, because people honestly thought Bo Levi was going to go into Hamilton and burn shit down. He was going to be the hottest thing going. He was going to rule the CFL. Do you guys really think Dave Dickinson and Huffnagel don't know when a quarterback is done? Do you think they're stupid football people?
I don't think they're stupid football people.
There's a reason he's not in Calgary.
Well,
it's because he's old and washed up. Sorry, I'm going on a rant. Leave me alone. He's old and washed up. Oh, my groin. Ow, 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 that hurt. Shut the fuck up, Bo. Go sit down. Go do something else. Let the people who can play the game play the game. Okay, I'm better now.
So my thought is, and Dave Dickinson has gone through it. Sometimes you need a scenery change. Henry Burris, when he went to the Red Blacks, was he washed up and old? No, he still won a Grey Cup.
But
Ricky Ray went to Argos, and these guys were like 10 years older than 4 Down Bo, as you call him.
4 Down Bo is old in the head. He got hurt. He got hit hard and hurt his shoulder.
Last year.
Year before last.
2 years ago.
He's never been the same. If you watch him, when they put pressure on him, he freaking panics and he fires the ball stupidly. He's not a starter in the CFL. He needs to be benched.
And did you see the play where he got injured?
Yeah.
I'm going to reserve judgment until I hear more, because it's something I want to keep an eye on. Because if he's out, that's like, I mean, even if he's in, the Tiger Cats aren't looking good. The Tiger Cats look like trash.
Yeah.
He's overthrowing his receivers. He's underthrowing his receivers. And in typical Bo Levi fashion, we saw it because I watched the first half with you. He yelled at the receivers and threw his arms up like, "What are you doing?" And then you have Chad Kelly, who, first off, TSN, calm it the fuck down.
Oh my God.
This is not Ricky Ray. You don't need to start licking the guy.
Ricky Ray. Oh, sorry.
That's what they're doing with Chad Kelly now.
It is. Did you see the panel at halftime? I thought, who's the lady on the female on the panel?
I'm terrible with names.
I thought she was going to strip and run and jump on him. I did. She was going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It was like, seriously.
But
was he good? He was good.
He was, in my opinion, he was great. He saw holes in the defense. He took advantage of them, whether it be a timing play or a scramble. He was able to do it. But it's his first game in the second game of the year. First game for the Argonauts of the year. Let's calm down with he's the greatest quarterback in the league, because
it was the first game for the Argonauts, not the second.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Second week of the CFL.
Yes.
But first game for the Argonauts and first game for Chad Kelly.
They were handing him the trophy again.
Yeah. Like, it's just one of those things that in Canada, TSN, unless you're in Toronto, will always be known as Toronto Sports Network. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's Sports Center or TSN will cover CFL, Toronto. Everything else is tertiary. Like, there's not even a secondary level. It's football, Toronto, hockey, anything else.
Yeah,
and if there's nothing else, they'll start playing FIFA, or they'll pay more attention to FIFA soccer than they will pay attention to the CFL. And the CFL is exclusive to TSN. It just makes no sense to me.
Well, do you expect it to make sense?
No, not with them.
No, definitely not.
Entertainment factor on this game. Did you find this game entertaining?
I did. It was a fun game to watch. More so for me, a old time CFL fan, was okay. Let's face it. I don't like Bo. It's not a secret.
What?
I don't. I'm letting that out of the bag. I think Bo Levi is overrated and has been for the last 5 years. Was he great when he first started? Yeah. Has he been overrated? Yeah. I don't call him 4-down Bo for nothing. And it was kind of nice. I kind of got a little feeling in my belly. I got that, oh, this feels good belly, when I saw him overthrowing, underthrowing. Why are you doing that?
Don't worry about me. Just keep going.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell is he doing? He's gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But the pure entertainment of the CFL is second to none. I know there's going to be guys out here, girls out here watching that are saying, oh, the NFL is so much better. Be honest. Be honest with yourself. The CFL is just an exciting game to watch. Do they have better, more athletic players? Maybe in the NFL. Maybe. There's nothing like 3-down football.
No.
It's quick. It's fast.
And when you've got nowhere to go.
Different things. Quick and fast are two different things, because we got the 20-second clock. We throw the ball more because we only have 3 downs. We got the wider field, and we got motion in the backfield. There was a couple plays there during the on the BC game where I swear to God they were like 50,000 people running in the backfield. It was insane.
I talk about that in the power rankings, is that BC made these adjustments. Edmonton didn't have an answer for it.
Yes.
Like, teams in the CFL, like in the NFL, and they talk about it when you go into it. The first 10 plays are prescripted. The first 10 plays in the NFL, they go, well, this is what they're doing. Doesn't matter if you get a first down or not. This is play 2. This is play 3. In a CFL, you don't get that. You might get a couple plays scripted. You might get, hey, after this play, we'll do this in a hurry up or a tempo offense.
Yes.
But how often do you see in the NFL tempo offense? Never. You very rarely see it unless it's we need to score with 2 minutes left in the game. CFL, you'll get it in the middle of the game for no reason other than we have a mismatch we want to exploit. Right. There's so many different pieces in CFL game that just aren't present in the NFL game and make it boring.
Oh, 100%. Like, it's not even close. It's really not. It's Rod and I, of course, I work on the Rod Peterson Show, or for the Rod Peterson Show. That's broadcast daily on YouTube and Game Plus Network. And we talk a lot about the CFL and off camera, because Rod talks about it a lot on camera. And it literally drives me nuts when I see so-called CFL fans, and all they're doing is bashing the CFL. And I mean, we do it to a certain degrry. We bash the CFL, not the game.
I'll bash the CFL, the media entity of CFL, because they're bad at their job 90% of the time.
Yes.
I'll bash the TSN and the broadcast because I don't feel it's up to par with where the game should be. Oh. And now Now they've made really good steps the last couple of years.
This year, the broadcast, the camera work, and the broadcast quality. Who's the new announcer? He did 2 games this weekend.
I can't remember his name. Ferguson. Yeah.
I like this guy. He knows the game very well. He only played up to university, apparently. I believe that's what Rod had told us, but I'm not positive on that. I could be proven wrong. And he knows the game, and he knows when to elevate his excitement. I find, like, I was listening to the Riders game on radio when I was driving home, and the Riders play-by-play guy, the guy gets excited when there's a snap and the quarterback catches the snap. It's like, and there's a snap! Oh my God! It's like, whoa, dude. Bring it down about 4 levels. Like, get excited when you need to get excited.
100%. And the biggest thing, we live in Calgary, so most of my references to sports broadcasting will be Calgary. But if you look at, I can't think of his name right now. Oh, I just had it and lost my brain. Who does the play-by-play for Calgary on? Oh, I lost you.
There I am. Rafe Mayer?
Sorry?
No. Rafe Mayer. Where did I get Rafe Mayer from? What the?
I don't know. That name not familiar to me in any shape or form.
Rafe Mayer was he was on CKNW out of Vancouver. He was an old talk.
Oh, did we lose you again? We completely lost him this time. But whoever it is on the Calgary broadcast, he's very calm. He's very analytical about what he says. He's talking at almost a monotone voice during the game. And he's like, and the snap comes back to Jake Meyer. Jake Meyer looks back. He looks over and he makes the pass. And that's a first down. He amplifies at the first down. He amplifies when there's something important or something major that's happening on the field. He's not, like the old man was saying, he's not up there all the time. And a lot of people find that very hard in comparison to hockey, because hockey, there's things constantly happen.
Yes.
And I'm a huge hockey fan. Falling asleep, I used to listen to Peter Marr, probably.
That's who I was trying to say,
60.
Peter Marr.
No, not Peter Marr. Peter Marr was probably 60, 70 games a year back when he was on the radio, because I'd fall asleep to it. And when he was really good at keeping the excitement, keeping you engaged. And then when something happened, he brought it to that next level. But he was so unbiased and so hockey oriented. Yes. And I know, because me and you have been in the car, we're in the car years ago and listening to a Canucks Flames game, and someone scored. And we both looked at each other and we're like, wait,
who scored?
Yeah, who scored? Because he knew how to get excited. And sure, he would hold a Jerome McGinley for a lot longer than he would if Daniel Sedin scored.
Well, of course.
But he's a homer. He's paid to be a homer.
He literally paid by the home team.
I get people, oh, he's a homer. He shouldn't be doing the broadcasts. No, he's paid to be a homer.
The only people that aren't paid to be homers are, all radio guys are paid to be homers because they're 100%. On their home radio network.
Yeah.
When you're watching a game on Sportsnet or CBC, that's when you shouldn't have homers, because it's a national game, and that's where your excitement level should be at a crescendo when it needs to be, and not 100%.
But the problem is what happens, and I'm speaking more so for hockey now than I am for TSN, because I find TSN very unbiased when it comes to calling the games.
Yes.
The guys who are good at calling the games, guys like Rod Black, they get excited no matter the team, because they love football. You can tell it by the way they call the game, the way they get excited for it.
Yeah.
When you have what's his name? The guy who calls the Edmonton Oilers games all the time. Not the play-by-play guy, the former player. And there are very few NHL. Kelly Rudy is Calgary. I don't mind him. He is homer when he needs to be, but he's very fair when he's not.
Yeah.
When he's a national broadcast. For Edmonton, I can't think of his name. But he is the only time I literally consider pausing and trying to sync up with a radio broadcast for play-by-play. Because he is just he's so homer. And because we're in Alberta, if there's a Edmonton Calgary or a Calgary Vancouver or Vancouver Edmonton game, we get that home broadcast.
Yes, we do.
The Vancouver broadcast is blocked out. So I'm stuck listening to that.
Yeah.
And it takes you out of the game. When you have,
Especially when you're, I mean, and you're supposed to, when you're supposed to be a national broadcast, mind you, on those games, are they supposed to be a national broadcast?
50,
Because they
there
have
are there
there
are a
are
lot that
local,
are.
there are a local team, right?
Yeah. No, so like last year the last year with John and John, they had nationally televised games that they would do, and they would have local games. The nationally televised ones, they would try to be more even. They would know more about the Canucks because they travel with them every day,
Exactly.
but their calling would be different. And it used to actually drive the Canucks fans crazy. Be like, why are we talking about this team? It's like, well, it's a national broadcast. You have to be talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs or the
Yes.
Edmonton Oilers or the Winnipeg Jets. But for the Vancouver broadcast, when you're facing off against LA in a just Vancouver broadcast, be as homer as you want. In fact, be more homer than you normally are.
Yes, exactly. No, I totally agree. Now, what I wanted to get at, what started this whole rant, was the production value of what TSN is putting out has been freaking amazing. I didn't watch the full game on Sunday. Was it Sunday? Were you over on Sunday? Then you went home, right?
Yeah, I went home
during the game. Yeah, we didn't watch the full, but do you remember that one? I don't know if it was a kickoff return where the floating camera, I'll call it. Maybe that's not the name for it, but you know which one I'm talking about.
Yep.
It literally followed the play. It was amazing. I was almost out of my seat not because the play was that exciting, but because it was a cool effing shot. It was one of those, that's freaking cool.
And
that's what we need more of.
Those types of shots bring you into the game. They make you feel excited. Again, the play was a kick return. Who cares on two teams that you're not huge fans of? Like,
well, yeah,
you're not going out there cheering for, but you were like, I'm into this now. This is great.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what they need to be doing.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was really good. I mean, so far this year, I think TSN, for all the crap I give them, and I pick on TSN a lot, I think they've done a pretty good job so far.
I cannot disagree. They have, to me, this is the best year they've been in many, many years.
The biggest problem with what I see right now is it's minor, guys. It's so minor. It's important to Jake and I and to people like Rod Peterson, to the announcers,
to the diehards, the media, that sort of stuff.
Is that want to know the stats. It's just one of those. It's such a little thing to most fans. Most fans don't pay attention. They look and they go to the game. BC won. That's all they care.
What is the biggest industry that the NFL has?
Stats.
No.
Oh, fantasy football. Yeah.
You want to get fantasy football and you don't have stats? You want to be talking to Yahoo and you want to be talking to these sports betting sites and you don't have stats? You're going to hit me with 19 different advertisers that are advertising bet on the game and your stats aren't correct. How am I taking the over and the under if I don't know if the score is correct? How am I taking the over under on passing yards if I don't know the stats that you're putting up? Because there's two different sources. Last week, two sources, two different stats. I'm pissed if one stat sheet says I'm over and one stat sheet says I'm under.
And you know what's going to happen? The sports betting industry is going to walk away.
They have to.
They can't. They have to be accurate, and they have to be live stats. It's not. It can't. Literally, I mean, I know nothing about it, but it can't be that hard. If I could be at the stadium and they're putting up the stats on the freaking scoreboard. And how many yards? How many receptions?
Those aren't always super accurate, but that's fine. The difference when you're at the game and you're live like that, a 2nd and 7 and a 2nd and 6, not a huge difference.
But you're sitting at home and you're together.
When you're sitting at home and you're betting over on the half for 227 yards or whatever it is, 225.5 yards, and that difference of making it, not making it is that 1 yard.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge difference. And again, you're going to get the betting advertisers to leave because you can't reliably bet on something when the stats aren't reliable.
Exactly. I agree. Totally agree.
Now the reveal. The CFL Power Rankings reveal for week 2.
Okay. This is Jake's rankings. Let's see if I agree with them.
They are the Hughes Sports Podcast rankings, but I am the one who does them. So let's see.
Let's see if I
We are going to do
agree
it
with
in
them.
reverse order, of course.
In reverse order. So
the Edmonton Elks down 2 positions to 9th.
how come
Last week I had them at...
Can you guys see that? If you can see that, let me know, because I can't see. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, never mind. I can see it now.
Because he's blind.
Yeah, I'm blind.
Edmonton Elks down 2 positions to the 9th. They lost where they couldn't score a point against the BC Lions. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I agree. I'll let you have that one.
Moving up 1 position, the Ottawa Redblacks. Last week I had them at 9th.
Were they in last time?
They were in, because they went up 1 and they're now in 8th, which means they were at 9 last week. You know how to do math. They were dead last week. I didn't think they looked good at all. I think they looked okay, but they still fumbled the ball too much. No comments on that one.
Nah, you're right. I'm not going to disagree yet.
Down 1 position, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Again, I had high hopes for them, and I put them in a position where I thought, you know what, middle of the league. Now you're just below middle of the league.
Yeah, and you know what? Those 2, 7 and 8 could go like reverse 8, 7. They're there like.
And again, if the Red Blacks come out and have another good game where they look good, and even if they lose, very easily they're 7th.
Yeah, exactly.
Now this is where I think things might get a little controversial.
Okay, here we go.
Saskatchewan Roughriders down 1 position from 5th to 6th. They look good against the Blue Bombers, but they still lost.
They lost, so they don't.
A very important inter-division game.
Yep.
I can't give them anything better than 6th.
No, I agree. I'm going to give you that one.
5th. Up 3 spots, because I had them in 8th last week. That's how poorly I thought of their performance. The Calgary Stampeders. I can't tell if the old man is thinking or
I am. I'm thinking. Again, as I said, to 7 and 8, 5 and 6 could flip as well. It's one of those. They could be tied, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
that close. So I'll give you that.
Number 4, a team that did not even play this week, the Montreal Alouettes.
See, that's just where I'm kind of like, okay.
So my thought process on this, and I'll explain it. I explained it in a little bit more detail in the article. Who's the second best team in the East?
Montreal.
Are you saying that Calgary is better than Montreal right now? I can't say for certain.
Well, it's only 2 weeks, so it's really hard. When we get into week 8, and then we'll have probably more.
And right
discussion.
Now we only have 1 week of Montreal playing.
Yeah, exactly.
So to me, I literally, and I said put it in the article, I just can't put the Stampeders ahead of Montreal at this point, because Calgary is going to be fighting for 3rd place, in my opinion, in the West, and the Alouettes will be fighting for 1st in the East, and that's a huge difference.
Yeah, Toronto, Montreal.
I think.
Yeah, and then it better
Number
be
3.
Toronto. Okay. Whew.
Toronto Argonauts. Again, they had a good outing. They didn't have a great outing. They didn't need to.
No, but they had a good outing. I mean, Kelly really did play well.
100%.
Right. So no, I agree with that one. 3 and 4, I agree. They're in the right spots. The other 2, it's one of because it's only week 2. You could flip 5 and 6. You could flip 7 and 8.
And again, I'm working off I had 0 preseason power rankings because I think that is a load of baloney. I want to see how the teams play.
Exactly. And you're not seeing anything in preseason as far as who's going to be on the field, right?
No, exactly. Now, how do we want to reveal number 2? Do we want to reveal number 1 first, which should play? So right now we have the BC Lions and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at 1 and 2. How do we want to do the reveal here?
I think you just pull it off. Like, rip off the Band-Aid, Jake. Just rip it off. There's going to be some Smurf Mafias. They're not going to be happy.
Then we have the Blue Bombers moving down a position to number 2 after, again, it was a close game with the Rough Riders. But that's why they moved down.
Is that okay? I was just gonna say it's a close game, 18 points. We won by 22 points.
We won by 22 points. The game against the Calgary Stampeders, we played, in my opinion, and not just my opinion, but other people's opinion, the most complete game in the CFL.
Who did?
The BC Lions in
Oh,
week
okay.
one.
You
In
think
week
that?
one. I think that.
Oh, in week one.
Week one, not week two.
Yeah.
No. Week two.
Whew. I was
Week
like, I haven't
two. The
taught-
only
I haven't
reason I'm
taught
giving
you
the
fuck
BC.
all about football if you actually believe we played a complete
No.
game.
If anything, I'm going the complete opposite. The reason the Lions are moving up is they faced adversity against a very terrible team.
Yes.
And they continued to pull through. Again,
Yeah.
22-0 and held the team to under 150 yards.
And when you can hold, I don't care what team it is, when you can hold a team to 0 points and under 150 yards, is that what you said?
139 total yards. So yeah, under 150.
The defense is doing something right.
Yeah.
It's they a lot of times you'll see a blowout, but you'll see the losing team get 300, 350 yards because they bent, but they didn't break. In this case, BC just didn't bend. They shut them down.
Yep.
Yes, it's Edmonton. Yes, they're struggling, but it's
who cares? You have to take advantage of those wins.
We BC Lions did what they needed to do to win that game.
And again, just to clear the air here, the first time since 1977
Edmonton has been shut out.
That an Edmonton football team in the CFL has been shut out.
That's saying something.
And that's saying something because there have been some really bad Edmonton teams the last couple of years. And they were never shut out.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, how do you not score a field goal in the CFL? Like, how do you not score a field goal? It's amazing to me. So I know you and I kind of texted about 1 and 2. We didn't talk about anything else. You and I texted back and forth about 1 and 2 this morning, and I completely agree with your top 4. Your bottom 4, 5 and 6 could switch, 7 and 8 could switch. It wouldn't make a big difference to me.
So that's the bottom 5, just to be clear. That you're talking about. Bottom 5, you could swap around. Top 4, you're good with.
No. The bottom, no, I'm saying like 5, 6, 7, 8. You got to leave Edmonton in 9th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm saying 7 and 8, 5 and 6. I was like, what are you talking about? That's 4. There's 2 and 2. That's 4.
But Edmonton's the bottom. Like,
Edmonton, I agree with your last place. Your 7, 8. I'm not saying I disagree with it. I'm saying
you're just saying you could easily flop both.
If you would have put Ottawa in 7th and Hamilton in the 8th, I would have went, yeah, okay. And I'm still saying, okay, this way.
I just had a hard time, and honestly, this was very difficult, a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be, because how do I move Ottawa up 2 and Hamilton down 2?
Yeah, and to me, those 4 teams could be tied.
Exactly,
literally.
Right? So, and I mean, Calgary moved up quite a bit because I do think that they showed they were better than they were against BC, but but they still are, in my opinion, very close with the Riders, very close with the Ticats, very close with the Red Blacks.
Yes, they're going to be struggling to make the playoffs.
I agree. So again, just to recap, in number 9 we have the Edmonton Elks, number 8 Ottawa Red Blacks, number 7 Hamilton Ticats, number 6 Saskatchewan Roughriders, number 5 Calgary Stampeders, number 4 Montreal Alouettes, number 3, Toronto Argonauts. Number 2, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And number 1, the Orange and Black.
Your BC Lions. I had to.
That's fair. No, I appreciate it.
We're homers. We're allowed to be. We're not national television.
No, we are irrational fans, and we will stand by that statement.
Yes, Rod Peterson. We're irrational.
Now, man, is there anything else that you want to go over this week?
No, I'm good, man. That was a good hour.
It was a good hour.
Yeah. Next week, we're gonna.
Next week,
I know we're in the middle of the CFL, not in the middle of the CFL, but we're in the CFL season. But we're also a Vancouver Connect podcast.
Yes. So next week on Monday, we'll be talking about not just the draft that's on Wednesday. The first round that's on Wednesday, the second through 7th round on Thursday, but also the Saturday where free agency opens up and maybe we see the Canucks make a big splash. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me if we.
Free agency, I thought it was July 2nd.
July
No?
1st, always July 1st, always Canada Day.
Is it? Really?
Always can't. Well, except for because of the last few years because of the COVID-ness, July 1st is always free
Really?
agent frenzy
That's
because it
why
is the
you said
greatest holiday.
we had to trade Miller before July 2nd.
We have to trade him before July 1st. July
Yes, okay.
1st is when his no trade clause kicks in. So if
Right.
there's a trade with JT Miller, which I don't think there will be anymore with the buyout of OEL,
You never
I
know.
still think there's going to be a big move. I think Oliver Ekman-Larsson being bought out makes JT Miller stay.
That big tall guy, that big tall guy.
Where he's not being traded until September. But keep your eyes, your ears on Anthony Beauvillier.
HughesSports.ca will give you all the news leading up to the draft.
It's true. And if you checked out my last article that I posted about the Vancouver Canucks, that I posted about 45 minutes before the news came out, I talk about a potential trade with Beauvillier to make some cap space. And option 2, which I was the one saying we should do option 2. I don't think it'll happen though, because option 2, buyout OEL. And
I can't wait till you're proven correct in that one item that we're not allowed to talk about, so we can talk about it. But anyways, carry
on. Yeah, I mean, I know what I'm talking about, guys. I check with people who are in the know, or I'm in the know myself.
Are you in the know?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I have, what's funny is I know you're trying to wrap up. I have people who work in very interesting places. I'll just say that.
I work in interesting places.
I have friends who are even more interesting in interesting places.
Okay. That's true.
Anyway, again, we are the Hughes Sports Podcast. I took that off. It was the right one. The Hughes Sports Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at HSP_pod, Facebook HSP pod. You can find me on Twitter at JStreams. That's JEH Streams. The old man, you can find him because he's not going to plug it himself. You can find him at Cavalli Channeling on Facebook. You can find him at Kev Hughes 64 on Twitter. Keep up with everything that's going on.
Lots of stuff going on over at Cavalli Channeling if you guys are interested in checking it out. Huge news over there.
But again, we are the Hughes Sports Podcast. We love you guys for coming and hanging out every single Monday and listening to the podcast throughout the week. I didn't tell you this, old man, but we had almost 3,000 views or downloads this past week. So
wow.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy what we do,
love you.
Please keep going because we love to do this.
Let's push it to 5,000.
If we can make this a daily podcast or like bi-weekly podcast twice a week.
I have to put up with you 5 hours every week. That would be a lot.
5 hours.
Well, if we do it every weekday, that's 5 hours.
No,
dude.
We're not doing every day. No, I said bi-weekly, twice a week.
Okay.
Whew. Twice a week.
Scaring me.
Twice a week. Just an extra hour that you got to deal with me. Not that we don't talk another 17 hours off stream, but ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you here next Monday to go over the Week 3 CFL season, as well as the draft and free agency. Have yourselves a wonderful night.
Game of the week will be Thursday night. Pay attention.